Monday. We are live in Nolensville at Mill Creek Brewing in their tap room behind the bar this morning. But we'll be out here next weekend, next Sunday for Titans at Seahawks. All of our away game broadcasts for our pregame, halftime, and postgame show will be live at Mill Creek Brewing Co.'s tap room here in Nolensville. It's fantastic out here. It's a lot better than what we watched on TV yesterday from the mainstay. But we're live here to talk about the Titans' disaster of a loss in week one at home to the Cardinals, 38-13, and how that blowout loss has created a lot of alarming questions for what we thought we knew about this franchise going into this season. So we'll discuss that. Which was worse? Which was more concerning? The Titans' offense that only scored 2 touchdowns, or the Titans' defense that gave up 5 Kyler Murray touchdowns yesterday. Then we'll get into Todd Downing and what I think is an alarming stat about his game plan against the Cardinals, his first game as Titans offensive coordinator. So a lot of different discussions here. Then Taylor Lewan, once again, feels the need to go out there and have an apology tweet for his performance on Sunday. We'll get into that. And then it is Monday, so that means bad sales job here on this Monday. Zach, welcome in. Hope your week is off to a better start than the Titans were yesterday. Live here from Mill Creek Brewing.
Yeah, it was a tough Sunday. Some teams looked good yesterday. I will say the NFC West. Ooh. Tough thing is the Titans play an NFC West opponent next week. So the Rams looked really good.
They play all of them this year.
Yeah, they looked up to form last night. Matthew Stafford looked pretty sharp in that L.A. Rams uniform. Probably thanking the good Lord above he's out of Detroit. So a lot to discuss, a lot of NFL football tonight. You got Ravens in Las Vegas. That should be interesting. The Ravens dealing with a lot of running back injuries. But we got to talk Titans today. And got a lot of opinions, had a lot of overreaction tweets yesterday. I'll get into one of my favorites, which is hilarious. I understand the overreaction, but this was a good overreaction tweet. But a lot to dive into on this Monday morning. We are broadcasting live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and on Facebook. We welcome everybody in. If you're on Twitter, please retweet the broadcast. That's the easiest way to distribute the show. We need to pop up in your Twitter followers timeline. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. More things going out on that channel. And if you're on Facebook, make sure you share the show. Bottom left corner of your screen, share now to public. Sharing is caring and caring is sharing. More people will pile in over the next 5 to 10 minutes. This is going to be probably a big show reaction after week one. Austin, it's not just you and I that wait all of those months in the off season and grind and interact and put your heart and soul into a football team. And then week one comes and then they lay down. And so we're going to have a lot of reaction today. It is going to be a good show. Let's get this party started.
Yep, let's do it officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered by BetMGM. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Zach Bingham. Make sure you follow us all over social media, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok. We're Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, and we go live every weekday morning at 8 Central Time. Got to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us, and they help out you guys. Renters Warehouse Nashville, the professional landlords in the area at renterswarehouse.com. Mandu, the Pulse of Fitness, 1 15-minute workout equals 5+ hours in the weight room. Mandu.com, your first workout's free. If you need a new car, head to Lebanon. WilsonCountyHyundai.com is where to go for their services. Calvin and Subtle, if you want new hardwood floors to upgrade that home, go to calvinandsubtle.com. And the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. So, Zach, I had Adam Holt for A to Z Sports go do some research at the end of last week of what is the Titans' record when they opened the season week one at home. Since 1999, when they moved into that stadium, the Titans entered yesterday with a 5-5 week one home record. They lose in awful fashion yesterday, so now they're 5-6 in week one home games, and they have not won a week one home game since 2010, when they beat the Raiders to a score, Zach, of 38-13. 11 years later, they've lost now three straight week one home openers, and this one was 38-13 loss to the Cardinals, ironically, a team from the West Coast coming to Nashville and laying a whooping on the Titans. We all slept on it. I don't know if you guys all slept or not, but how did you feel waking up this morning about that loss?
Well, I think I felt the same in the sense that a lot of things need to be fixed, and it sounds like a lot of things need to be shaken up. You know, like you get the orange juice out of the refrigerator in the morning, you don't want that pulp to settle down. And I feel like, to your point, what you said yesterday on our postgame show, it's like the pulp settled down in the OJ and they got comfortable. And Vrabel needs to go in there, and I do think Vrabel is the coach to do this, and say, look, you're not the man. I think Arizona showed you guys are not the man. Lawan, you're not bounced back as much as maybe you thought. Julio Jones hadn't practiced that much. Just because you're in a new uniform doesn't mean that it's not your responsibility to catch the damn football, right? A.J. Brown and the coaching staff as well. It's not just the players, and we'll get to the defensive side of the ball because I mean, how many points did they give up?
38.
Now, some of that the offense didn't help with.
14.
Right?
14 of those points were the offense setting up the defense in the bad spot.
But still, how many points would they have given up?
24.
That's not good. So there is some problems, and they gave him some big plays, including third down plays. But I think the orange juice, you need to shake that baby up this morning and then take and pour it in a tall glass and get you a fresh start and kind of forget about what happened yesterday. Learn from it, obviously. But man, it was embarrassing.
Yeah, it was embarrassing. And I looked at you in the fourth quarter and I go, I cannot wait to hear what question Luke Worsham asks Mike Vrabel. Because Luke always has a really tough question to the head coach in these type of moments. And Luke got off 2 questions in the 8-minute Mike Vrabel press conference. And his first one I thought was great. And it was, is there an attitude problem with his team? And Mike Vrabel basically said, I hope the attitude's to go out there and compete. But you have to know in this league, you can't go out there and expect to win just because you make this much amount of money or your suit costs this much and you drove this car to the stadium. That the Titans walked out on that field expecting to win and thinking the Cardinals were going to let them do it. And like Clark Lee from Vanderbilt had a similar expected ETSU to roll over. It's like the Titans expected to just go out there and put up 30 points a game like they did last year.
I will say this, Austin. I liked the way Vrabel answered that question.
Agreed.
Because he could have gotten defensive.
Yes.
Right?
And he normally does with Luke, but he did not.
And he did not. Because I think he said what he meant. And that was, we kind of expected to come in there. And you hope that you don't have to have an attitude adjustment. And look, I understand coming in there, and the overreaction, and Durrell comes in there and says, week 1, relax. Look, I'm not saying pour the orange juice out. I'm just saying shake it up. It needs a little bit of a refresh. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying that it's expired. It's week 1. We do all need to relax. I don't think the Green Bay Packers season is over after yesterday's performance, right? No. I still don't think that the Tennessee Titans season is over. But you can't dig yourself into a deeper hole because you got Seattle and Indianapolis on the horizon.
Yes, and the good news of yesterday is that the Colts lost to the Seahawks, but the bad news is the Seahawks whooped up on the Colts, and now you have to go play Seattle in Seattle next week. And if you fall into an 0-2 hole, it's not very good. So I did see, before we move on to our question, I did see this side note of like good news for Titans fans this morning. It's coming from Nick Corte on Twitter, who covers the NFL draft for Over the Cap. He says, Jadeveon Clowney played enough snaps to boost his contract to a 5th-round compensatory pick. So congrats, Titans fans. Jadeveon Clowney gave you a 5th-round pick for next year. So that's some good news you can take this morning. But let's go ahead and get to the topic at hand and ask you guys, what's the bigger problem? The Titans offense or the Titans defense? What is the bigger problem today? The Titans offense or the defense that gave up 38 points? But first, let me tell you guys about Mandu, the Pulse of Fitness. 1 15-minute workout equals 5+ hours in the weight room. Mandu.com. Your first workout's always free. I was actually at Mandu early Sunday morning before that game yesterday, and there was a lady in there with one of her friends who was watching her friend work out for the first time. She was curious about Mandu. She was asking me after my workout, how long have you been doing Mandu? What have you seen from Mandu? I said, you absolutely get stronger and you get leaner. And she's like, I like that. I like leaner and stronger. Results are real at Mandu. You can achieve your fitness goals at mandu.com. Your first workout's free. And if you tell them A to Z Sports sent you, they'll take $100 off your first month when you sign up. That's at mandu.com.
And don't forget, look at Austin's shirt, because BetMGM, the official title sponsor of this morning show, has got you hooked up. Download the app today. Go to your Android or your Apple store, and they've got you covered. They have parlay boosts. If you're a new user, we got you hooked up with a $10 wager winning $200 if either team scores a touchdown tonight in the NFL game. They've got you covered. BetMGM. Download the app today.
All right, so what's a bigger problem, the Titans offense or the Titans defense? Because both were dramatically bad at several times last year, with the Titans offense matching its worst output from a year ago, 13 points that they scored in the playoff game against the Ravens. Just 2 touchdowns. Now, there was a field goal missed at the end of the half and an extra point missed after the first touchdown. So, opportunity for 17 points. And I actually thought about this morning, Zach, before I let you read some comments, is that think about if Badgley had made the extra point like he's supposed to and had made a very makeable field goal at the end of the first half. It would have been 24-10 at halftime. Kevin Byard gets an interception. Titans score a touchdown. 24-17 early third quarter looks really good. But you miss those 4 points. Now you're still down 11 after an interception and a quick touchdown to turn the game around. So those 4 points were very important. But overall, the Titans couldn't stop Kyler Murray anyway for the majority of the game outside of that one pick. So it did not hurt you because of how bad the Titans offense and how bad they were on defense the rest of the way.
Yeah, so the question is, what's a bigger problem, the Titans offense or the defense? Let's go to the chat, because I am curious to see. It's unfortunately both answers can be correct, but we're asking you to pick one. John is still laying in the corner of the room, curled in the fetal position. So, John, we wish you the best of luck. But MHVACR says offensive line coming in from John. The play calling from Eric Torres. Ryan says the offense is right now. It's the offense, Clayton. Offensive line from Kalen. Offensive line from Tommy. Ivan says defense, and so does Jonathan coming in there. Offense from Steven. Fatty says offense. Joey says the offensive line specifically. So does Charlie. Steph Don says the defense, because it was the problem last season as well. So he's kind of saying, hey, not much has changed, which I can't disagree with that. Charles says offense. Steven says offense. Apollo offense. Marquis. Randy. Troy. Offensive line, no doubt, from team leader 2010. Offense, of course, they put the defense in a bad position, and they did do that a couple of times, Scott.
Especially one of them on like the 1 yard line.
And
the defense almost forced a field goal on that one, because they got the Cardinals the 3rd down and goal from like the 6. And DeAndre Hopkins beat George,
they almost
beat Jack.
Almost doesn't.
But I'm saying like normally.
But they did.
Normally,
but they did.
I'm just saying that the offense.
That's
put
a moral
them on the 1 yard.
victory,
I'm not. Look, that's not going into my answer. I'm just making a point of what happened. Is the defense played really good for 2.5 downs, and then at the second half of 3rd down, DeAndre Hopkins.
But they did.
I understand that. I'm not saying that they did or didn't. I'm not saying that they did. I'm just saying that they played good on 1st and 2nd down to avoid a 1st and goal at the 1 situation. That's my point, which is true.
Yeah, but they did.
Okay, I'm not, again, stop. I'm not saying that they did. I'm just pointing out 2 plays.
But when you say they almost held a field goal, that is not a good statement.
Okay, regardless, you're caring way too much about my one sentence there.
What you mean.
My answer is that the offense is a bigger problem. The offense is supposed to be able to play in a shootout type game. The offense has the best running back in the world, Derrick Henry. The offense has 4 offensive line starters returning. They have a Hall of Famer at wide receiver, a Pro Bowler at wide receiver, and then a quarterback who efficiency stats is one of the best in the NFL over the last 2 years, and they put up 15 points. And that's inexcusable. The offense looked like trash yesterday. And that's where I put the majority of the blame of the – I think the offense is a bigger problem because when I look at the defense, I see where Kyler Murray just made plays that you can't really defend. Kyler Murray made plays with his legs that like guys can't cover for 8 seconds. That's just not how the NFL works. And I don't think that the Titans front did a bad job of moving Kyler Murray off of his spot, but that's what I talked about in the pregame show, is if you're going to move Kyler Murray off his spot, it can't be to one side or the other. It has to be backwards. And even when they did move him backwards off his spot, he back foot through 30 yards in the air, a rainbow touchdown pass to Christian Kirk. So sometimes you just have to tip your cap to Kyler Murray on several plays that he made that the defense did everything right, but Kyler Murray is just that damn good and was way better yesterday. Look, I'm not saying the defense played well. I'm just the defense gave up bad plays, but Kyler Murray made better plays. So that's why I think the bigger problem is the offense.
The bigger problem is the defense because that has been always the problem. I think we all feel that the offense can figure it out. We've seen it before. I've seen Ryan Tannehill throw dimes to A.J. Brown. I've seen Derrick Henry get upset and come in and dominate a game. I think that's going to happen. I'm not overreacting. Are there some concerns on the offensive line? Yes, I do think that the chat got that absolutely correct because Lawan, we'll talk about him later, and the right tackle, they got issues. So I'm not discrediting that, but I do feel like they have enough good players. And you saw a little bit of the glimpse of what Derrick Henry can do on a couple of long runs, right?
He had 3 carries in a row that had 31 yards.
I mean, only 5 running backs went over 100 yards yesterday in the NFL, which is kind of crazy.
Titans fans and Titans media are very spoiled by a 100-yard rushing guard.
Correct. But the answer is defense. That is the correct answer because be it that Kyler Murray played really well, which he did. I think we all saw that. The defense gave up 416 yards. Repeat that. If you answered offense, let me tell you something.
Okay, I have a response to
the
your
defense gave up 416 yards. Elijah Molden, that was a great pass by Kyler Murray, but Christian Kirk just beat Molden's ass. One-on-one coverage. If you're in the NFL, that's what they expect you to do, is to be able to play one-on-one coverage, especially in those situations. And you're talking about how well Kyler Murray played. Yeah, he did. But you know what? If you're going to try to win a Super Bowl, you're going to have to beat teams with good quarterbacks. Yeah. So that's a complete, utter excuse.
Right. No.
You know who they got next week? They got Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is better than Kyler Murray.
Okay, all right.
They got to play Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen later. They're going to play the 49ers, who looked like the best team yesterday. Like, there's still the defensive issues. Maybe they are a little better. Maybe they don't have to worry about Jonathan Joseph early in the year. But I was not impressed with the defense.
No,
and the amount and the amount of yards they gave up. The answer to the question should be defense.
Zach, you earlier we read comments. You said the answer is both. Did you not? Did you not say the answer is both?
Both are bad.
Yes.
That's what I said.
So, right. I know that too. Both are bad. But just because people answered offense doesn't mean they're saying the defense is off the hook. So, listen, you have to make sure you remember your own statement there. Both are bad.
What was the question? Read the question.
Which is a bigger problem? They're both problems.
Bigger.
Right.
And defense is the bigger problem.
No.
And I just explained to you very adequately why.
You say that the Titans defense gave up 416 yards. The bigger problem is the Titans offense only had 248. That's the bigger problem. The Titans defense can give up yards all day long.
No, they can't.
But the Titans offense has to be better and is supposed to be better and is paid to be better. The Titans offense is the bigger problem because they took a massive step back and they created the hole. The Titans offense created the hole. The Titans defense, after a quick 3-and-out, forced a field goal. After a couple big plays, Jackrabbit slipped, which I'm going to start calling him Janoris after he plays like that and gives up 2 touchdowns on Sunday. Janoris slipped. Then they forced a field goal. Then Ryan Tannehill got sacked, fumbled. Chandler Jones was the beginning of the whole day for him. And then Norris again gave up a third down touchdown to DeAndre Hopkins. And then what did the Titans offense do after that? Nothing.
The defense can't keep giving up touchdowns.
They gave up what, Zach? The Titans offense created the problem that got the game.
Did you ever feel like the Arizona offense was not rolling?
No, but again,
that's my point. You just answered the question. Like, I never once, like, the Titans couldn't get past midfield. I got that. But I never felt like the Titans defense had anywhere of a stranglehold around that offense. If anything, it was more the Arizona Cardinals making dumb penalties on themselves, right? Or wasting timeouts. That was not due to the defense. That was not to the Titans defense.
Zach,
I think that's my issue.
I'm just going to read you what the Titans defense actually did. Here's the Titans offense first 4 possessions. Punt, 3 plays, 0 yards. Fumble, 2 plays, minus 15 yards. Punt, 3 plays, minus 6 yards. Punt, 7 plays, 5 yards. They actually got a first down on a fake punt and then turned around and lost yards and had to quickly punt after that. The Titans defense at that point still had it at 10-0. The Titans defense was able to force a field goal and then force a punt, but the Titans offense made their situation so much worse than it was already gonna be. My whole thought, I guess, why I say the Titans offense is a bigger problem, because they are both problems, is my expectations of the offense are so much bigger than what they showed yesterday. That is atrocious for those first 4 drives. They couldn't get a first down with their actual offense in their first 4 drives.
But I go back to my original statement. I still feel like the offense has the players to be absolutely fine and get back to where they are.
All right.
I think that's the overreaction that you're having. Like, it's understandable why you're overreacting, but it is an overreaction to say that this one offensive downfall is going to plague them the rest of the season.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying right now it's a big problem, because here's what I know.
But if you have the players to fix it, my problem, Austin, is I don't know if they have the players on defense to fix it.
But I also
Agree?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, that's definitely a question mark. But I also respect and acknowledge the plays that Kyler Murray made yesterday. They would have burnt just about everybody. Like, the Titans got a good push. The Titans they sacked.
Are you going to be okay with that next week in Seattle?
Zach, time out.
Are you going to say Russell Wilson and
stop,
DK Metcalf is really good?
You're putting words in my mouth. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying I'm okay with it. I'm not okay with the Titans defense giving up 38 points. But I do give credit to where it's due to the quarterback who made so many plays off script, because that's what Kyler Murray does. And I said this in the postgame show. The Titans defense will be so much better if they play against a quarterback who plays on script. But they start the season with 2 guys who don't.
Right. And they're going to end the season with 2 guys that don't, and Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes.
Zach, I'm not making excuses. I'm giving analysis that the Titans defense is set up better to play on script than quarterbacks who don't.
Every defense is set up better to play with quarterbacks on script. Come on. You're not saying anything that's stupid. That doesn't, of course you were saying something that's rhetorical. Like, everybody understands that.
But my point is,
it is an excuse.
No, my point is they're not going to play guys like Kyler and Russell Wilson every week. Like, luckily
this is an off-script league, though. Somebody said that. Oh, Perry Dixon, love of the show. Perry Dixon, way to go, my man. Because ding, 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 ding. This is the love of the show. Because unfortunately, the Titans are in an off-script league. That's just what it is. And you know what? More quarterbacks are infiltrating this league that go off script. Zach Wilson, off script. Justin Fields, off script. Trey Lance, off script. Hell, the majority of the guys are not the traditional Tom Brady, Peyton Manning pocket passers. It's an off script league. So that I feel like is an excuse.
But nobody has like the sudden agility that Kyler Murray has. Like, I'm trying to say how good Kyler Murray played yesterday. Like, can we not also acknowledge
it's the defensive problem?
Okay, all right. So why I think the offense is an issue is because of what I saw from Todd Downing. So I have a stat from Todd Downing that shows you the big issue with his game plan yesterday. But first, Zach, tell everybody about Wilson County Hyundai.
Wilson County Hyundai is where you need to go to get your next ride. It is easy. Quick trip down I-40 exit 236. Payne Bone and his team can hook you up with a brand new Hyundai. I'm talking about that 2021 Hyundai Palisade. Yeah, your wife is going to love it. It's a family car. You got third row seating in the back. You've got captain bucket seats right there for the kids on long road trips. And you got everything you need. I'm talking about tech savvy right up front. Apple CarPlay if you're an iPhone user. They have everything. Some of them have wireless chargers right there in the middle. That's the Hyundai Palisade. They have them brand new at WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
A to Z Sports. There's still a game tonight in the NFL's Week 1. Don't forget, download the BetMGM app. We are powered by BetMGM every weekday morning and on Sunday game days. BetMGM, download the app, and today, use code ATOZ200. That's ATOZ200. You deposit your first deposit. A $10 wager wins you $200 when either team scores a touchdown. I have a feeling there's going to be a touchdown tonight. You got to think that's going to happen. So BetMGM, download the app, use code ATOZ200 to make your first deposit. A $10 wager turns into $200 when either team scores a touchdown. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. You must be 21 years old or must be present in Tennessee. And for gambling problem support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-9789. A stat that I think shows a very large issue with Todd Downing's game plan, Zach, is I got this Emily Proud charted first down yardage. So I put it together. In the first quarter, the Titans had 5 first down snaps. They combined for -9 yards. 5 first down snaps for -9 yards. In the second quarter, they got something going. They had 9 first down snaps for 72 yards. Now, 39 of those yards of the 72 came on the flea flicker to Chester Rogers. But much better in the second quarter. The big problem, my God, you cannot wait an entire quarter to adjust to first down play calling, because here are the first down play calls that Todd Downing had in the first quarter. A run for -3, a run for -1, a run for 2, a sack for -6 on a play action, and a run for -1. Then he started with a run for 2 yards in the second quarter. Overall, of the 14 first down snaps in the first half, 8 times, the Titans were in 2nd and 10 or longer. That is awful. You always talk about staying ahead of the sticks. Todd Downing sucked yesterday on first down when it came to not being predictable. The Cardinals knew it was either a run play or a play action pass for the first 7 first down plays.
And to that point, because I think that's very good information. I thought Arthur Smith, and it took time, but Arthur Smith became a very good play caller on first down because of his unpredictability. And he would get in shotgun and have Ryan Tannehill throw a quick slant to A.J. Brown to get, and sometimes it turned out to be 60 yards, but to get 4 to 6 yards.
Yes.
So now Derrick Henry, it's okay to be predictable on second and short because you can be unpredictable with a play action pass because the defense thinks you're just going to try to get the first down.
Yeah.
So, look, he's got a lot to learn. I mean, we knew that before the season.
Well, and unfortunately, like a lot of Titans fans looked at Todd Downing's 1 year as play caller with the Raiders, and the Raiders were a dysfunctional organization that year. And it was a lot of it was beyond Todd Downing's control. But Todd Downing is not off to a good start. But again, I have to recognize it was not Todd Downing's decision for Julio Jones to not practice for like 20 plus consecutive days in the month of August. It's not Todd Downing's fault that Derrick Henry did not get any team reps until late in August in training camp. So Mike Vrabel decided to manage his superstar offensive players the way that he thought was smartest for the team. But I think it absolutely backfired in week 1. And I don't care what any of the players say. I don't care what Vrabel says. I don't care what Julio said on Friday, that 4 practices is enough. It's not enough. 4 practices together is not enough to get you ready for an actual game.
I think that became apparent yesterday.
Yes.
Dakota's Matthews on YouTube brings up a pretty good statement. He says, everybody in the world knows what the Titans are going to do. I think that can be a blessing and a curse, right? You can use that information to your advantage, but you just have to know how to do it, right? And I think yesterday Todd Downing didn't know how to use that to his advantage, because I agree. Everybody knows that Derrick Henry has to touch the football a minimum amount of times.
Yeah.
And he's not that great of a pass catcher out of the backfield. He can go for screens, but you have to get really unique to make sure that you get the ball in his hands in the space that he can utilize.
Yeah, Dom says they ignored training camp. That was the most cocky coaching decision ever. Tom Brady 12 was out there practicing all camp. Why the hell can't the Titans start? Now, I'll say this. Ryan Tannehill did not miss a practice until COVID. So Ryan Tannehill is not in this lump conversation. But it's Julio, it's AJ, it's Henry, it's the offensive line, Ben Jones, Nate Davis, both missed a lot. Roger Saffold and Ryan Tannehill, 2 guys in the starting offense that were out there every day they were available until COVID happened for Tannehill. So I do think, that's a good point. They ignored training camp for the most part.
But that's the trend.
Well, the Titans need to maybe.
I don't disagree, but
they
trended the trend.
They over trended. Yeah.
But that is the trend of today's
No,
football.
the trend is not playing the preseason games.
No,
I don't give a damn.
No. If you look across the league, it's very
The
similar.
trend is practicing less, sure. But the trend is to not ignore training camp to the extent that the Titans did.
I think it did come back and bite them in the ass.
2 years in a row. Denver last year, they got away with it because they won. That was ugly in Denver. And then
they played a lesser opponent.
Exactly. But 2 years in a row, this overextending trend for the Titans has bit them in the ass.
But and Jesse brings it up. I mean, it is chemistry. Chemistry is real. Whether you're in a relationship, you got chemistry. Oh, you and your wife got chemistry, or
trying to complete passes in the NFL. Yeah, chemistry is not just easy.
And Julio Jones and Ryan Tannehill didn't get enough work.
Yeah,
Julio was traded before training camp started.
Oh, Julio showed up for OTAs.
That's right.
That
was when I saw him.
He showed up at OTAs and was great, and he was at minicamp.
And he, a little side note on Julio, he has to catch the football. DeAndre Hopkins catches the football. We saw that yesterday. DeAndre Hopkins, I'll be honest, DeAndre Hopkins kind of killed the Titans in the first half.
Kind of? No, he absolutely did.
He did his work and left because they started getting more playmakers involved besides DeAndre Hopkins in the second half. But he was better than everybody else. In that back of the end zone touchdown catch over Jackrabbit.
Which one?
Well, both.
Both of them.
But no, he beat Byard on the turnaround catch that he moved upfield. That was Byard.
Oh, that's true. No, but you know what was also dumb about that? Is that DeAndre Hopkins was lined up in the slot and Byard had a man-to-man, but was playing his safety position.
Yeah.
It's just dumb coaching. Again, Shane Bowen didn't have a great day either.
And DeAndre Hopkins is very hard to coach against. DeAndre Hopkins is Julio with the Falcons 6 years ago, which is prime. He's prime time, baby.
Right. Yeah, and I agree with several of you guys. DJ Bacon Bit says Fulton had a great game, and then Steph Dobbs says that Kyler Murray stayed away from Christian Fulton. I think Christian Fulton was one of the brighter spots of the day yesterday, but unfortunately he's on a defense who gave up 38 points. So nobody gets credit for playing that super great.
So we'll talk about the offensive line next, but Austin, I do later in this week, I want to talk about the defensive line.
Yeah.
And we'll have a whole nother show on that because I want to know your opinion on the push they were able to get. And because it is new, right? You have Harold Landry and Jeffrey Simmons that are the same, but Pop-Tart was in there. You had Autry, and then you also had Bud Dupree that, for all that money, that was the first game he played as a Titan. We'll talk later this week about the defense.
Yeah, and we're going to get to Lawan here in a little bit, but I'm curious to hear your answer to this question, Zach. What was your biggest complaint about Todd Downing's first game as Titans offensive coordinator? Well, and then everybody else, what was your biggest complaint about Todd Downing's first game as Titans offensive coordinator? But first, real quick, let me tell you guys about Renters Warehouse, renterswarehouse.com. If you're trying to earn long-term equity to help your retirement plan, Rent Estate is the way to go. Renterswarehouse.com can do everything for you when you own rental property and you just get paid. That's all you do. You just get money sent to you by Renters Warehouse. They do everything. The maintenance calls at whatever hour of the day, whatever goes wrong, they help fix it. And then also they collect the checks because collecting money is not easy, but you just get paid. Renters Warehouse does everything. So go to renterswarehouse.com to find out how much your home can rent for. Also, if you're trying to rent a new home for you, they've got a great inventory across the mid-state, whatever style home you're looking for at renterswarehouse.com.
Got a lot of good opinions coming in here on A to Z Sports as we broadcast live from Mill Creek Brewing right here in Nolensville. This week could be different. One thing that will be different, home games were at the Mainstay. That's where we were yesterday. One thing that will be different is away games. Look, you're not going to the game. You're not going to get disappointed live at Nissan Stadium like you did yesterday. You're going to come here and enjoy your time because you got ice cold beer on tap, as you can see back there. They got a ton of different types of beers, and that's the best part. Mill Creek Brewing in Nolensville. It's a quick trip wherever you are. I talk about quick trip when we're talking about Wilson County Hyundai. A quick trip to Mill Creek afternoon game so you can do whatever you need to do in the morning. We're going to be here broadcasting live. It's going to be a great atmosphere as the Titans try to bounce back in Seattle against the 12th man.
All right, so what was your biggest complaint about Todd Downing's first game as Titans offensive coordinator? I'm going to try to scroll to the top to find where all these comments begin because, man, a lot of comments here. Jeff says vanilla play calling. Scott says first down failures. Robert says run more. Orlando says no play action. Ryan in all caps says not adjusting, period. Aaron in all caps says predictability. Chris says Todd Downing sucked. Lawan sucked. They all sucked, right, Chris? Troy says very predictable. He was calling every play from the balcony. Karen says too predictable. Steven says no wonder the Raiders fired Todd Downing. Can't do anything to save his life. Now, let's remember, Todd Downing was fired because Jack Del Rio was fired and the little staff was fired because they were in love with John Gruden. So don't just be incorrect here and go after Todd Downing personally. Let's see, more comments. No creativity from Cam. Everything was too predictable. Paul says first quarter play calling. I knew out of the plays, you knew Arizona was going to be coming. And Tied Up Ohio says doesn't know how to adjust. Zach, what was your biggest complaint of Todd Downing yesterday?
Look, I think if you made the game plan, you have to get Derrick Henry involved. You wanted to get Ryan Tannehill in a flow with Julio Jones because of lack of practice time. And you wanted to get A.J. Brown going because A.J. Brown, I think he just brings energy to the team, right?
No doubt.
Like when he makes plays, and I'm not talking about plays like his touchdown catch in the third quarter when you're just fighting for your life to get back into the game. I'm talking about early on plays. I think my biggest complaint was the adjustment that they could not block Chandler Jones. Like, you talk about adjustments, I get that. But you have to figure that out. That was the singular biggest problem yesterday. We talk a lot about DeAndre Hopkins and Christian Kirk and Kyler Murray running around. The biggest game wrecker was Chandler Jones. I mean, he tied for 8th in NFL history in single game sack yesterday. NFL history. Mean Joe Green. Toss Mean Joe in there. I mean, all of the great Aaron Donald, all the great pass rushers in the league's history, Chandler Jones was 8th yesterday with 5 sacks. He was the game wrecker. So I would say Todd Downing's ability to get with his offensive line and the offensive line coach and try to figure out a way to chip, block, double team Chandler Jones for whatever side he was on, because that guy is multiple. He doesn't. That's what makes him so great. And you knew about Chandler Jones. It's not like it's not like Chase Young jumping on the scene.
Yeah, he's like a 10-year vet. Chandler Jones has been around for a while. So
that's my biggest problem.
My biggest issue.
He ruined the game.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. My biggest complaint for Todd Downing is that it took way too long to just run a normal drop back pass on first down. It's like everything on first down early was either a run or a play action that took forever to develop, and Tannehill couldn't get anything going. And finally they did it. Remember, AJ's first catch was on a 1st and 10, drop back pass over the middle down the seam for like a 12-yard gain, and then they ran the flea flicker right after that. It's like it took way too long for just in a regular pass, just a normal pass on first down.
Desperate calls, fake punt and flea flicker. You don't expect to pull that out in the first game unless like a good time to do the flea flicker is when you're up 17-3 and you want a dagger.
Yeah.
Like that's when you call the flea flicker because you have Derrick Henry. We talked earlier, Dakota's earlier on in the show said everybody knew what they were going to do. If you're up 17-3 and everybody knows you're going to hand the ball off to Derrick Henry, that's when you do a flea flicker. Boom, all of a sudden you're up 24-3. But instead, they had to use that so early when they didn't need to, and it wasn't a big play enough to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
But it worked. And then the fake punt, it kind of makes you cringe that early on in the year.
It's just that the stat that just makes you just shake your head about what yesterday was and why, again, I said the offense was a bigger problem than the defense. At the end of the first quarter, the Titans' leading receiver, safety Amani Hooker. You can't have that.
It was like Houston 3 years ago.
Yes, except the Titans didn't have Blaine Gabbert at quarterback and Taywan Taylor catching screens. The Titans have way better offensive weapons and personnel than that. And that was the reality, is that the best play they had, really, and Julio, man, it's just so ridiculous because I want to say the third drive, Henry did not have a negative carry on first down. I think he gained 2 yards. Then he gained 7, and it was supposed to be 3rd and 1. Julio gets the 15-yard penalty. And now you're 3rd and 16, and here you go again. And then right after that, it was 17-0. Boom. Game over. You only scored 13. They had 17 after your third offensive drive.
And I think it's unique because Julio Jones got that 15-yard penalty. Titans fans are just getting to know Julio. Like they really had no reason to watch the Atlanta Falcons for all of these years. They don't know what type of player he is. You don't know what type of person that he is because he doesn't really open up and talk to the media that much. He's a very guarded individual. Now, he's outstanding, right? He's Hall of Fame caliber. But this is the opportunity for Julio Jones to get to know his new team and his new fan base. And week 1, getting a boneheaded play that backs your ass up to 3rd and 16.
When you desperately needed that first down, and Derrick Henry finally got something going.
Julio Jones hurt his team more than he helped his team yesterday.
Because who knows how that – if the Titans convert that 3rd and 1, we have no idea how that game changes. But then going to 3rd and 16.
Drive killer.
And drive killer, and then the Titans give up another –
screen.
I think they did. I think they threw a screen to McNichols. Or something. And so after that, it's just like, God, it's like the game is over. And we don't know if the Titans could have put up some type of points on that drive if they converted that 3rd and 1 there. So A to Z Sports here live on this Monday, live from Mill Creek Brewing. We're going to be here for pregame, halftime, postgame show in Nolensville, Tennessee for all the away games, which means week 2 at Seattle for a 3:25 kickoff. We'll be here. We haven't mentioned his name a lot so far because we've been saving it for now. How do you feel about Taylor Lewan's apology tweet? Because Taylor Lewan gave up 2 sacks yesterday. Then he was out for 2 series from cramping. That's all we know, that he was out for cramping. And in those 2 series, Kendall Lamb had 2 false starts and 2 allowed sacks. So,
woof, woof.
And then we'll read the Taylor Lewan tweet here momentarily. But first, Zach, tell everybody about Calvin and Soda.
Yeah, Calvin and Soda is where you need to go to get your brand new hardwood floors. Rip up that old carpet in your house. Don't try to, buy a new house. That's going to be tough. You're going to probably have to move far away from where you are now with this market. Just upgrade your home. And you can do that with brand new hardwood floors. They have you covered at calvinandsettle.com. You can go online, and look at their hardwood flooring and call them. They've got a showroom, or they'll come to you. They're COVID safe. They'll have the protection for you and your family. And they'll come out. You pick out your perfect hardwood floor, and 1 to 2 weeks, they order the material, they order the hardwood floors, and they install. It's that quick of a turnaround. And that's important, right? You don't want to be stuck up and figuring out where you're going to live if you're redoing. It is very quick and efficient. That's one thing that they pride themselves on. The other thing they pride themselves on, besides efficiency, is a great price. They can get a high-quality hardwood floor in your house for a great price. That's calvinandsuttle.com.
All right, a lot of comments coming in. The question, how do you feel about Taylor Lewan's apology tweet after his poor play yesterday? Here is the tweet. Got my ass kicked today. No way around that. I let the team and the fans down. Thank you at Chandler Jones for exposing me. It will only force me to get better. That was a tweet yesterday. And a lot of you guys, Ryan saying, words without action is just noise. Lane says, say it on the field, not on Twitter. And then Brandon says, he wasn't cramping. Man's ego was hurt. I mean, I expect that Taylor Lewan was cramping. I don't think Lewan would just take himself out of the game for his ego being hurt.
No.
But I do expect him to be cramping. And like,
he was on the bike on the sidelines. Like his action, he wasn't just standing.
Here's my somewhat half-educated assumption about that situation. He was in the blue tent for a while. I'm guessing in Okay, we're back now. Something happened with the feed there. So the point is that Lewan was in the blue tent getting some type of IV, and then once he got out of the tent with the IV, getting on the bike to see how his body was responding before heading back into the game. So that was my overall thought and assumption of what happened with the Lewan cramps. But then again, what are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at the comment. Disappeared like Lewan did. Look, Lewan did disappear in the sense of he was not very good yesterday. And I don't mind him admitting his faults, but you can only do that so many times. He kind of used one, right? I think that's how I would envision it.
He's used it way too many times. Like, how many times is he gonna continue to use this reasoning or excuse? I mean, it's awful. It's ridiculous. Like, we are tired. Everybody apology tweet for a dumb penalty, for poor play, for the PED suspension. Like, we're just over Taylor Lewan apologizing for things. And my initial reaction when I saw the tweet was eye roll, just rolling my eyes as hard as I can, because we've now seen this for as many years as Taylor Lewan has been in the NFL.
Well, and he had a lot. I mean, he had a lot on him, right? He had a lot of pressure on him.
He's paid to have a lot of pressure on him.
And he is paid to have a lot of pressure, but he's got to have to live up to those expectations. He is. And, you know, I get the ACL thing, right? He's coming back from that. There's also pressure on himself, but this was a otherworldly performance by Chandler Jones, right? I think you have to think about that.
I think we're frozen. There's nothing I can say. We're frozen. The audio is still working. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing that there's nothing else we can say about the Lewan thing. But here is the reality: is that Taylor Lewan could be in his last year as a Titans lineman, because his contract next year, the Titans can get out of that and save a bunch of money when it comes to Taylor Lewan's contract. So Lewan's up against it. If he wants to be a Titan next year, he has to go earn it, because his contract is very team friendly to cut him and only get like $1.7 million of dead cap. So Lewan can't have any other games like this. And I feel like if you're going to tweet something, don't like thank the opposing player for outing you. Just tweet that you weren't good enough and say how bad you were, and then it's unacceptable. Don't try to go out here and say how great Chandler Jones was either. So it's really, really bad look again for Lewan. And I don't want to see any more tweets. And I'm curious of his out. That being. So I think we're back here live at Mill Creek Brewing, obviously having some type of internet connection issues. So are we back? I think we're back now. So we're all good here. I think we've said all we can say about the Taylor Lewan tweet, but it just cannot happen anymore. And if he does play bad again, don't tweet. If he does play poor again, don't tweet about it. Just be silent. Just don't say anything.
Well, he used up his one. You can't do that week 6 and week 10 and week 18. And look, I saw a lot of things yesterday talking about, and look, when you're a public figure, you're going to get scrutiny. We get scrutinized all the time. I get called an idiot all the time. Stop. Since he has taken on busing with the boys with Will Compton no longer plays football. Will Compton was never a first-round pick. Will Compton never was the highest-paid linebacker in the NFL. Lewan is all of those things. Taylor Lewan has a lot of pressure on him. Will Compton is smart in the sense of he has figured out his second career, right? Like, I give him credit for – but Lewan is still in his first career. And so if you want the popularity that Lewan has, I personally wouldn't have tweeted it. I will say that. If I was Lewan, I think you just stay the course and you try to get better. But you kind of put a target on your back for fans because that is his fan base.
Yes, there is a target on his back because of the podcast, but I'll say this. I don't think him doing a podcast for an hour on a Tuesday impacts his play on Sunday whatsoever.
No.
I think it's ridiculous that fans talk about how, we'll stop spending time on the podcast. That's not affecting his play on game day. He's doing something for an hour that's not football.
Well, the issue is unless you're all pro or Pro Bowl offensive lineman, nobody really recognizes you. It's just a position that you don't want to talk about, right? You don't want to talk about the offensive line. You want to talk about Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, A.J. Brown, and Julio Jones. So when Chandler Jones has a career day and gets 5 sacks, I think you just take your lickings and you move on to week 2. I personally wouldn't have tweeted anything, but he kind of used his one apology this year. You can't apologize. You can't keep apologizing. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I'm late. I'm sorry I'm not. That usually gets your ass fired in everyday work life, right? He's used one apology. He has to play better. I think he will play better. But now all eyes are going to be on Taylor Lewan for the rest of the year.
Yeah, Paul says, I hated the apology. Thought it shouldn't have been sent, but he is coming back from an ACL. And I think physically his ACL is probably fine. Now we're seeing Lewan having to test the mental aspect of coming back from an ACL surgery because that's the final hurdle that you have to get over. Like, you always get cleared physically before you wonder what your mind is always still worrying about that knee when it gets in a situation where you have Chandler Jones just bull rushing you and you're thinking, is my ACL going to hold up?
Well, and there's a lot of pressure on Taylor Lewan this year. We know the structure of his contract.
Oh, yeah.
And Lewan knows the structure of his contract.
It's no secret. It's public information on Spo, right?
Well, yeah, that is one
Spo
thing.
knows.
That is one thing Spo knows. Spo does not know market value of players in the offseason. But Spo does know the actual contract terms. And he doesn't there's not a lot of dead cap, right?
No, it's like $1.7 million of dead cap. So the Titans could save like double-digit millions of dollars.
And I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Lewan has 16 more games to prove his value and that he still can be a force in this league and protect his quarterback, Ryan Tannehill. And I think every Titans fans and media and everybody that criticized him yesterday should at least afford him that. He's got more opportunity and more chances to make good on his apology.
But again,
right?
Things continue to stack up, right? It was the PD suspension. He was rusty after coming from the 4 games that he missed. He played better late in 19 in the playoff run. Then he was playing fine last year. The ACL popped, and now it's again like things are starting to stack up against Taylor Lewan when it comes to his reputation as a tackle in this league.
One thing is for sure, the offensive line as a whole has to protect Ryan Tannehill better.
This is a line that is so like cliche, typical Titans fan about Taylor Lewan. AFIO on YouTube. Quit busting with the boys and start blocking for the boys, right? Like, oh God. It's just I've seen so many bad tweets about like Taylor Lewan shots about the podcast. Just so old. Okay, Zach, let's get the bad sales job here on this Monday. Bad sales job on this Monday. But first, let me tell you guys about the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. If you have any injury or whatever it might be, any type of injury, they can get you back to health and streamline that process of getting back to health with doing everything under one roof. They don't send you all over town to different offices and different waiting rooms to sit in and call different places to schedule. No, it's all one place. boneandjointtn.org.
A to Z Sports Bet MGM. That's where we're powered by. Download the app today. It is football season, and they are hooking you up. We got promo codes galore. They got, hey, it's Monday. It just probably slipped into my app.
Free bet.
Free $10 bet. That's what you can do. You can turn that. Man, I'm probably going to do a same-game parlay tonight for Ravens. I almost hit my same-game parlay last night, but Allen Robinson did not have 60 yards. Everything else hit. You can be a part of that. It's fun. It's entertaining, and you can win a little bit of cash with BetMGM.
All right, bad sales job Monday here on the show. But Zach, what is our record for bad sales job Monday?
Well, bad sales job Monday.
You're up by 2, right? Is it 12? No, it's 12, 13, and 2. I'm only down by 1.
Yeah,
I won last time.
You are correct.
Because because Labor Day we missed bad sales job, so we're back on bad sales job Monday. So I will let you give me mine first.
Okay, you have to tell us the people why we will be all more efficient in this world by removing clocks and time itself. No clocks, no time. Take that completely out. And while we'll be more efficient, it will be a better world.
Let me know when you get the stopwatch ready.
I'm ready when you are.
Some of the most efficient times in our world is when we didn't have clocks, when we didn't worry about what time it was, because clocks and time creates procrastination. When you know the sun comes up and you got to get to work because the sun's going to go down later, you got to get as much done as possible while you have sunlight and get that done before it comes down. Because you can always say, I'll play when the sun goes down, but I'm going to get my work done during the sunshine.
Stop.
I thought that was solid.
It's difficult. Meetings. We don't live in caveman era. But
yeah, I mean, I did what I could.
You tried. I don't doubt that you tried.
All right. So Zach, your bad sales job is you have to.
I have one question.
Okay.
Bobby brings up a point. Isn't using the sun a form of time?
Well, I mean, like you're talking about clocks and time. You're talking about like 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, like hours.
Time.
Right? Well, I mean, you can't that's ridiculous. I don't think that's a point against me at all. I think I did with what I had. I used the sun rising and the sun setting. I didn't talk about time. The sun rises, the sun goes down. That's.
All right.
Callan says terrible. How was that terrible?
Hey,
You do
it. Hey.
Oh, come
on. Time.
I'm having fun. Having fun, Zach.
Chill
Chill out.
But we go back to the rules.
All right. Zach, you have to tell me why you will delete the Maps app off of your phone and not use any other form of finding the correct path to your destination, and how that will make you better at getting where you need to go. Why deleting the Maps app and not using any form of, I guess, what is that? Navigation to get you wherever you need to go. Hold on, I'm trying to get my thing up. I'm ready when you're ready.
The best part about this is I live in Nashville. I'm from this place. I've born and raised. I'm a unicorn. I know these streets. I grew up just about 10 minutes from here. Brentwood. I live in Nashville now. I've been living in there for 15 years. I know these streets. I can get to where I want to go. I know the paths. I know some of the back routes to get here. Don't take the traditional 24. That'll back you up. You need to go 65 and Concord. That's how you get to the tap room here in Nolensville. I understand these streets.
All right. Who did better? Justin says these streets kind of suck, which I think is true. No, everybody can agree that Nashville streets suck. Oh, okay. Who won? So all you got to do is just say Austin or Zach, A or Z. Who won bad sales job this week? Yeah, it's a geographical bad sales job today, Dom. Let's see. I'm seeing. Let's see. I'm gonna start with the first vote. Bobby says Zach. Kalen says me. Then we're 2-1 me. Now here comes the string of Zach. Scott. So it's 2. Dang it. 2-2. 3-2 Zach. 4-2 Zach. 5-2 Zach. 6-2 Zach. 7-2 Zach. 7-3. 7-4. 7-5. 8-5. I'm at 8-5. 8-6. 8-7. 8-8. 9-8 me, 10-8 me, 10-9 me, 11-9 me, 12-9, 13-9. Oh, it's a comeback. Oh, my goodness. Corey Davis won. 14-9. Did I win this? Karen says
keep going.
Me. God, this is 15-9, 15-10, 16-10, 17-10. I mean, there's so many votes. I can't tell people are voting twice. 17-11, 18-11. Callan says Zach. So that's 18-12, 19-12, 20-12, 21-12, 21-13, 21-14, 20. I think I won. Like I'm counting. There's too many. You're down by like 9. There's so many votes.
At this bottom. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6,
I think
7 versus 2.
But there's still 2 of mine. I think it's me.
You stop counting
because I can't tell if people are voting twice now. Like I think I got that's the most votes we've ever counted.
We have a big audience. You can't just quit counting.
I can't tell. Like I was up.
Your job is to count. What are you talking about? You have a placeholder.
I was up by 9 at 22-13.
22-13. Are you on Dustin?
Yes. So 22-14, 25-14, 26-14, 26-15, 26-16, 26-17, 27-17, 28-17, 28-18, 28-19.
Man, I thought I had that.
No, I win. Like I know every vote matters, Kelkins, but now I can't tell if people are just stacking the box with multiple votes. I think I saw Louis say tie 4 times. So I don't know, but I think I won. Based on what I counted, that's the most. We counted 50 votes. We've never counted 50 votes for bad sales job.
It's Big Monday. We're in the Titans
Stop
season.
the count, right? Stop the count. I think I won that one. So now we're tied 13-2. Oh, crazy show. It's just week 1. Anything to say?
I admit my defeat. I mean, the vote is the vote. I like arguing, but I can't argue that.
Corey says that his vote is in the mail.
Right? Yeah. All right, now we're getting into politics.
No.
All right. Okay.
But that was a funny joke. All right, guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday. The Titans lost week 1, but it's not over. They got 16 more games and plenty of opportunity. So we will see you guys tomorrow on the show. Don't forget, come out to Mill Creek Brewery next Sunday. Watch the Seahawks game with us. We'll be live here for our pregame, halftime, and postgame show. Look, this tap room is awesome. It's huge over here. They've got TVs all over the place. They've got great food. They cook their own menu right here in the food truck, right inside the brewery. And also thanks to NashvillePowersports.com. They'll have one of their souped-up golf carts here as well in the tap room.
Sweet.
Yes, so we will be back in studio tomorrow morning. Hope to see you guys on the morning show tomorrow. Buck Rising back with Primetime tonight. Also check the podcast network at AtoZSports.com for all of our content, and we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Thanks.